The UK wants the EU to return £1 billion if it is eliminated of the Galileo Sputnik Navigate framework following Brexit. David Davis's Brexit division is as well precautionary. The schema could price the EU an additional €1 billion, £876 million, out of the UK's extended participation. UK ministers are irate on the EU's judgment to range accessing to Galileo, an option to the US GPS framework. The UK play a main part in evolving satellites for Galileo, that is anticipated to be completely operative in 2026. But Brussels has quoted legislative issues on dividing susceptible data in a non-member country for its judgment to close UK firms out of the draft. Brussels has as well told it will limit accessing to ciphered signals of Galileo. In its stance document, the UK by the government repetition its risk to construct its own Sputnik Navigate framework, that has been alleged would price up to £5 billion, as a competing to Galileo. The document registers the UK's powerful opposition to its continuing exception of safety-related discussions on Galileo, that it says risks creature interpreted as an absence of confidence in the joint realm. Downing Road told the UK has detained structural discussions in the Europe Committee on stay in the Galileo Sputnik Navigate draft. Requested if the EU would return the £1 billion already nested in Galileo if the UK was eliminated of job on the draft, Europe Committee representative Margaritis Skinner told, the question is creature debated in our UK partners, talks are continuing, these are exactly the kind of issues we requirement to address. The UK by the government has as well endangered to unit Galileo satellites of with land monitoring stations in UK across the sea territories, such as the Falklands. The Europe Committee says the UK will include to use the Social Controlled Facility, PRS, a key item of the Galileo framework, any some non-EU nation following its March 2019 leaving. A navigate and synchronization alarm designed for use by the government agencies, gunman forces, and dark blue lighting services, PRS is intended to be accessible and strong though in times of meltdown. Brussels says the UK cannot once include accessing to it while it foliage the Europe bloc since it will be a overseas essence and PRS is for EU term state just. In the division for entering the EU stance document, UK officials alert how eliminating the UK of Galileo contravenes the departure transactions coordinated by Theresa May and the EU in December. It says, eliminating industry involvement by UK production in safety-related areas risks intermittent of up to 3 years and further expenses of up to €1 trillion. It will not be simple to efficaciously perform all Galileo safety job in another place. Sir Yvonne Rogers, who abandoned as the UK's envoy to the EU recent year in outcry at the muddled Brexit talks, offered the EU was partially reasoned by a wish to transmission job on Galileo to firms relying in the EU. In a speaking on environment, Sir Yvonne told, this UK truly wants to stay a main gamer in the draft, in privileged continuing accessing of external the EU, and view its capabilities and deposit today as giver it the order to how card to the EU. The judgment to keep necessarily entails reduction to a various part and statute in the draft, or, allows be frank, giving scale for EU-located firms to get contractual industry off of UK ones. Sir Yvonne as well offered in his speaking how several in Brussels might as well remember how the UK by the government, by Profi EU Tony Blair, tested to hinder Galileo receive off the land 18 years back. He told it was ironical how a lot more than Eurosceptic set of political community were now complaining bitter how position Brexit, the box might be once inclined more than versus the deep of involvement we now are film goer to. Individually, the UK has set out the degree of current law coercion capabilities that would be lose if a made-to-order safety transactions is not coordinated following Brexit.